Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay. Yes, I'm trying to keep the ring light out of my eyeballs. I hope that's working for you or for all of us. Good morning. Today is Saturday, June 26th. Can you believe next weekend is already the 4th of July? When we're halfway through the year. Oh my gosh, it's been going so incredibly fast. Fast and fascinating. It has been a year of all kinds of amazing things. I don't know about for you, but I'd love to hear more about that from you. So feel free to drop that in. So this morning we're going to talk about silence and the narcissist. And I have had a great deal of experience with one this past year, and I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot in the digital marketing space, which has been amazing. I've learned about videos, I've learned about lives, and so I can, teach others to do the same thing. And I also learned a little bit more about behavior, narcissistic to be exact. And I've not really ever had to be around a narcissist a lot. I have had one, and I wasn't even aware that he was a narcissist either. My daughter had to bring it to my attention. I was like, what? I'm a very trusting person until I'm not. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's just how I'm wired. I just really give people the benefit of the doubt until I don't. And so this morning we're going to rise and grind with a little bit of what silence can do that can hurt you, and silence can hurt other people, and what a narcissist can do for you as well. So here's to us. And this morning chat. All right, so like I said, I've had during this whole year of being mostly at home. I'm at home healthcare, so I really didn't have like a whole lot of time off, but I did have some off. And in the meantime, I wanted to learn something new, because I want to be able to tell my 80-year-old self that, there's more to life than, paycheck to paycheck. And we get seduced into believing, that that's all there is, and there isn't. There's so many amazing things out there, especially now with technology as it is, and going through and learning what I did last year in the first place. I already knew like a long time ago that technology was going to change. We just didn't realize how fast it was going to change. And this was the last year this last year was definitely proved that. So moving forward, there's going to be a lot of people, still working from home and, learning from others that are online and just whoever it is that you're plugging into. And that's fabulous. I really, really want you to keep learning and growing and self-care and teaching yourself new things. It's such an amazing feeling, and it's an amazing thing to keep doing so you don't get stagnant and just feel like you're worthless, and that's not a great place to be. And so I just highly encourage you just to keep doing things regardless. So I want to share a little story. So I worked this whole last year on, again, like I said, in the digital marketing space, and I'm learning, and I'm loving. And I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to oust the person out. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to talk about the behaviors and what happened, because I want you to be aware of these type of people in your life so that you can, and if you want to know who it is, you can definitely reach out to me and privately, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. But I'm not going to do it on social media. I'm just not going to do that. So during this period of time, though, I'm super excited. I'm learning something so completely out of my comfort zone. And I'm really, I'm taking classes, I'm learning courses, and I'm like doing all these things, and I'm working. And then I started working two jobs in the home health care. So I had a lot of clients, and I really wanted, though, to work in this space with other people, another profession. And I'm not going to talk about that either, because then it'll just give away all kinds of things. So I'm not going to do that either. So just for the sake of this conversation. So I wanted to really work with this other profession, and I was very enamored and very honored that this person spoke very highly of me and was speaking very highly of me to other very high profile people. And I kept saying, though, I'm like, I don't have the time. Like, I cannot possibly walk away from what I'm doing, not even knowing either if I'm going to have an income coming in from this or not for months. Like, I couldn't do that to my family, and I couldn't do it to myself. So eventually, before everything really started getting rolling, and I had to, give a resignation letter and, really thank them, and gratefully, I'm seriously very, very appreciative of everything. However, there's no way that I could really, help someone else in this other industry, still be working in my industry, and still working on courses and learning digital marketing, right? So I got slammed for doing that, like slammed, and it took me so off guard, and I was devastated. And I don't know if you personally have had that happen to you, where you felt you did the right thing and somebody just really slammed you for it anyway. So I was really seriously very surprised by the whole ordeal, the whole experience anyway. And it did like suck the life force out of me for a while. Like, it literally took me to my knees, and I got a little bit depressed, and I just really didn't know what to do, didn't know where to go. And I just really didn't, know who to turn to, except for the people in my accountability group. Thank goodness for them. And I really had to encourage you too to have an accountability partner or an accountability group, and, really plug in and make sure that you're involved with other people that are with you in your vision and that are very encouraging and very uplifting and very enlightening to, just really keep you focused on one path. And as I was down and feeling out, oh my gosh, my group was so amazing at highly encouraging me, uplifting me. And it still took me a minute though. I had to feel it. I had to go through it. It was like grieving. So I went through all of that and decided, okay, I'm just going to keep working though in my senior space with I'm a baby boomer. So I wanted to keep working with the baby boomers, the senior space, and really working on that. And I couldn't even do that. Like, it was just something. And then everything was just way off. And I'm like, okay, Larson, like, you got to decide what the heck it is you're doing and do it. And so I had decided that, my Saturday morning lives first was Grandma's on a Mission. Now it's Shelly Jean, and thank you to for joining me. And this is Shelly Jean at It's Shelly Jean, and I appreciate you being here. And so I decided that I wanted to just start podcasting, do lives, this sort of thing. And something made a major, major, major shift, a major pivot. We'll talk about that at another time, because right now we're talking about narcissistic people. So this whole event, though, that happened, I really felt like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Because it took me a long time to trust this person to begin with. Like I said, I trust people till I don't. But for some reason, with all the life happenings in the last 10 years, like, I do take a little bit longer to trust people. And so it took me a while. And like I said, with all his high praises and everything, and, really, encouraging me and all that, like, really lifted me. And I was very proud, and I became very confident that I could do this. And like I said, but the more and more work that was coming my way, and the more things that were being put on my plate, I'm like, I can't do all this. And I don't want to be a disservice to the people that he's handing to me, because they deserve better. And that's when I put in my letter of resignation. And like I said, he slammed me. Like, I have the emails, and I'm like, are you kidding? And like I said, it took me down for a while. And now, though, I'm so absolutely grateful that happened. So it just made a major pivot. It connected me with other people. It's created a new space for me to begin working with an industry that I was involved in for 17 years. And I absolutely loved my job. I loved working with the people that I worked with, and they deserve so much more. And they deserve so much better. And who better than to help them than me. And I'm super excited about that. And there's people I've been talking to, they're excited for me, that are in the industry or been around the industry. And that's the adult entertainment industry, in case you're wondering. And even in that industry, I never, ever came across somebody who was so narcissistic. And it took me a while to even figure out, like who is he and what is he? So here's my question. And I know that was a long story, just to get to this dang point, right? So what do you do when you know that somebody is a narcissist? Or at first I didn't know. Okay, so I didn't know at first. And like I said, I really trusted this person, really put everything into it. You know, what I felt I was doing was putting everything into it, but he felt otherwise. He was like, you didn't even do the work, and I don't even know why. I was like, what? Like every waking hour, like my kids didn't even see me. Like they would want me to babysit. I couldn't even babysit because I was so focused on getting these courses done and making sure I was doing the right thing and learning the right things. And oh my gosh, it was crazy. And I can look back at it. It was crazy. It's all good. Because I'm really seriously grateful though that happened, because now I'm definitely in a whole new path. Like I said, that like this is such a major pivot. So it's from the senior space going into the adult entertainment industry. And I'm not talking the porn industry. I'm talking the clubs that are in the United States and international that have been associated with like the Dollhouse, Pure Platinum, Solid Gold, you know, these kind of places. That's what I'm talking about. And anyway, I've worked in this industry for years and never ever have I ever come across somebody who is so narcissistic in this. So I'm going to give you a couple of traits, and then you can let me know what you think, and if you have someone like this in your life. And I've been hearing more and more about this too, like on Clubhouse. I'm on Clubhouse too. I love being in there. I do have to allow myself only so much time though, or I can get sucked into it like for long periods of time. So, but the one thing I learned about this though too is that when all this happened to me, and again, I'm not a high profile person, right? But I know a lot of high profile people too, and this person is connected to a lot of very high profile people too. So who am I to say anything about this person to these people, right? So, and I never used to be that way. So I don't know what happened. Well, I can't say I don't know, because if I did know, what would the answer be? So I do have an answer for that too. And it was just a matter of, because life happened so harshly during a period of time that I didn't feel I deserved anything. And I just felt like I was just like a really bad person, because why would such bad things happen to me? I felt like I was a pretty good person. Now I know it didn't happen to me, it happened for me. And so things are really, really changing. And so it really sounds like there's a lot of eyes going on in here. And the only reason that is I'm talking from personal experience. I just want to share with what's going on. And if you can relate, great. And it's not to sound selfish or conceited or better than. That's not what I'm doing here at all. And especially because we're talking about narcissistic behavior, and all I'm hearing is I. So let's move into the next piece. So silence in this manner of knowing that somebody can detrimentally bring your business down, you've got to say something. And a really beautiful, great friend of mine, who's like a sister to me, had made a comment and a legit, thought-provoking question for me. She's like, what if you did say something? All you have to say is, this is uncomfortable for me. I really feel, though, that you've got to know, because it's not gossiping at this point, and just allowing someone to know how very toxic this other person is. And people deserve to know. So it's kind of like the Harvey W. case. And I know this for a fact, too, because my beautiful friend that I'm talking about has very close association with what's going on in that whole thing. I can't get into this. It's not my story to tell. And we were talking about this very thing, and she said that's exactly what happened. So, her point is like, it's a case of Harvey W., but now it's in their digital realm. So everyone being silenced due to the fear of him retaliating. So, and that's so true. And I remember too, I was like, when I was younger, and I didn't even know, I lived in a domestic violent household. I didn't know who to tell. And nobody in my family did they did try to help. And then my stepdad just kiboshed all that. So I learned to be silent about that stuff because, like, who's going to listen anyway? So as I got older, though, man, my voice was like, shh. You know, people are like, shh. I'm like, no. And so this whole experience, like, really, like, I was so conflicted. And I have been conflicted. And then what happened was he made the mistake of posting something in a private group. And I saw it. And I shared it with my accountability group, and everybody was like, what is going on? And so I kind of went down the rabbit hole a little bit and found out that this person also got shared on a very high profile person's page too. And I was like, yes! Like, finally somebody got to see it. And do I take joy in that? Yes, I do. Because I knew then, and I know now that at this point, because it's on a high profile page and this person is being ousted out, that finally his true self, his true narcissistic self is being known and is becoming public, and it's what I've been wanting for a long time. And again, it's like, who's gonna listen to me? Like, not that I'm nobody, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm not in a position to go around to these high people and say, hey, do you know? But here's what I do know, you guys. No matter what or who is in your life, and this was like the biggest flag. Like, none of us, and I'm telling you, there's a huge, big group of us that walked away from this person. So I'm telling you, that it's not just me. There's a huge, big group of people that walked away, and was one right after the other. And then also this person let go a huge, big group of people that he had talked highly about for a long time too. So, like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm seriously, like, I was so confused. And anyway, so it's like, who am I to say anything? So even though we got this whole big band of people, right? There's like everybody really was just kind of like sitting on the sideline, so to speak. We all talked to each other about it, but we're like, what are we gonna do? So guess what happened? I Googled him. You guys have got to Google the people that you're connected with. Oh my gosh. Not a one of us in this group, which was really odd because he had even spoke about making sure you Google, right? And my beautiful mentor, Susan Slice, always said you have to Google your people. Like, Google, right? So you want to know who they are. You want to find out a little bit about them, whether good or bad, right? And oh my gosh, all these reviews for this particular person were coming up really, really bad. And there was one young guy who in the story ended up losing his entire business because of this person too. And I was devastated. And so I started sharing that person with people. I'm like, you guys, something's really not right with this guy. And then the word narcissist came in to play. And I'm like, wait, what? And sure enough, so here's some of the traits, and here's what we dealt with. But I don't care who it is. And I heard this on Clubhouse yesterday too from some really high profile women. They're like, you need to Google everyone, and you need to set contracts, and you need to have things in writing, and keep business and friendships. Yes, you can have them, but you have got to have things set in place, and you have to put those things in motion. Not even have to. It's necessary. It's important. So here's some of the traits. So, what do you do when you know that somebody's toxic like this, right? So you must speak up, because silence can hurt you and silence can hurt others. And it's not even about just this behavior. It's about anything. And there are people that can help, and you can find them in private groups. You can, reach out through a friend if you're afraid to talk to your friend about it. Google whatever it is you're searching for, find a number, you call that number, but you get yourself out of the situation and put yourself in a better situation. Okay. So there have been 2 people in my life that in the last 3 years that this has happened with. So I feel pretty lucky, and I just say lucky and fortunate that I have recognized though that these people are toxic. And one was an active alcoholic, and I wasn't even aware of it at the time either, because all of a sudden things just started going sideways. I'm like, what the heck? And it's like, oh, okay. So you got to take it into consideration too. Is this person drinking, doing drugs? Is he on pain meds? What is going on? And I had to let that toxic person go too. So that's another piece. So going into staying positive, focus, all these other things, like being, and I'm a recovering alcoholic myself. And there was even a point and a time where when I really wanted to be an AA advocate and I wanted to be a speaker in AA, and I was like, yes, this is the place I want to be, and all this. And then I realized, like, no, I don't want to be in this all the time, because it was really challenging for me to stay focused and positive and moving forward. But then I was kind of sucked back into a lot of, people's stuff, because I'm very empathetic to other people, and they'll be like, oh, I just want to fix you and be in control of fixing people, and that's not my job. Right? So I had to really learn a whole different way. And so I really feel like this feeling like I felt like I've been walking in the wilderness for years has really not been walking in the wilderness. It has really been a setup to a bigger, better plan. And now I'm right back in the industry where where there is a lot of alcohol and there can be drugs and there can be all kinds of things. However, all I know is I get to be the seed planter, and I'm super, super excited about that. So I'm really looking forward to being able to use my voice for things that I know and I love, and I love the underdogs. I've been the underdog and still kind of the underdog. So it's my people, and I love that. So I'm looking forward to really working with that group of people. So here's some more. So possible it is to warn others. And at first I was like, do I tell someone? Do I not tell anyone? And remember, like I said, I'm like, I'm not someone in a position to really talk to high profile people, but this person is starting to infiltrate groups that I'm in. And I'm like, this is not okay. And what do? I seriously been really conflicted. And then, when you ask, like, seriously, the universe comes and starts answering, or other people are asking questions, or they're talking about the same situation. And I decided that I'm not gonna be silent. I'm not gonna be the women or the woman in, like, even in the W case, right? Like, people are afraid to come forward. I'm not going to do that. But again, like I said, I'm not going to oust the name. But if you want to know, you can contact me privately, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you, because I'm just not going to do that. And so it's not about gossip. It's not about any of that, but it is definitely letting go of toxic people. And this person is super, super toxic, and he's very dangerous to really, he's very, so here's some of the traits. And again, I'm sorry, you guys, I keep going down this squirrel rabbit hole. I don't mean to do that to you. I was on a thought process, and I want to keep it going so I don't forget it. Okay, so yes, it is very possible that you can warn others. You definitely can tell someone, hey, I'm really uncomfortable. I really want to share with you something that I've learned, and I do have facts. I can give it to you. I can copy paste right off of reviews, and I can show you. Plus the personal experience that I've had, and other people that will definitely step up. If I ask them to step up, they will. As I know that for a fact, because we've talked about it. So I do have factual information about this individual that I can show you and prove to you. Okay. So they're self-important people, and they're very cunning, and they are con man, right? Like, this is a super powerful, not anymore. So at first, like I said, I was like, I thought very, very highly of this person. And I was like, I felt so wonderful that he thought so highly of me. And I'm like, wow, I haven't had anybody do that for a really long time. So it was easy to get sucked into that web of deceit, right? Because he was very, very good at it. So, and also the flags were there the whole time, because he would, like, really talk ill of certain people. And I thought, well, that's odd. Like, you can speak really highly of people, and you're in this, you talk about being in this great big companies, and you help them with these really all important things. And yet you just talk really down on someone. Like, it was like, that was the first red flag right there. And again, there was a lot of us that were just like, okay, maybe he's just venting or, expressing himself. And we've all done that at one time or another. But I just thought it was really odd, because I don't hear that from other people in my life. that are of a high influence. They just do not do that. They don't talk ill. They don't, or at least they don't say the name. You know, they'll express like what I'm doing right now, just sharing, you know, like behaviors of people, and or they'll say, you know what, I got caught up in something, didn't realize it, just what I'm doing right now too. But they didn't oust their name, and they didn't do stuff like that. So I thought that was a red flag for me. Another one is coercive control. And so this is, okay, let me go down. So exaggerates achievements and talents, expects to be recognized as superior without cannot even read my own writing today. I was in such a hurry to make sure I got this. My thoughts were like going so fast. So, and this was another one too I've seen. I'm like, what? Like, I don't see anybody else do that either. So for an example, when Clubhouse started, this person would be like, look at all my followers. Oh my gosh. And I'm thinking, why would you even say that? Like, nobody else is doing that. Like, so that's great that you have that followers, but isn't that the people that you wanted to attract into your tribe anyway? So that was another red flag. Like, but again, this is after learning about this type of behavior and really like going, wow, the signs were there the whole entire time. And because I'm not tuned into narcissism, because I'm not used to being around that type of person, like I didn't even know. I just thought at the end that it was just a very hurtful person. And I obviously did take it literally once I started, you know, thinking about things and really just taking a breath. And like I said, somebody said narcissist to me, and I'm like, well, I'm going to check more into this. Then it all came together, and now I'm like, I'm not taking anything that guy said and allowing that to hurt me anymore. And I can promise you I'm stronger than I've ever been, and my voice is being heard, and my voice is telling, right? So there's that. So how do you like that? Right? So step up, people. Come on, we got this. All right, the next thing too is they are preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success and power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. That was a whole other thing. So he talked about like all these different companies like he had been associated with, and that, you know, he and I'm talking big name companies. And come to find out when I Googled about this too, his association with them was nothing more than like a paper trail of things that he'd done. He worked for them, but he didn't do anything like big or extravagant with them. Like it wasn't like he was like a partner or, you know, anything like that. But somehow he has managed to get himself in the field though of, you know, of creating, you know, courses and all these different things. And that was pretty big important. So you think, wow, he's got all these courses, you know, got all these different things going on, and, you know, he created his own business, and there's like manuals like crazy. So why would you doubt that this person was anything other than very influential? There was no doubt in my mind that he was until he wasn't. So anybody in your life, you really got to really take notice and really pay attention to everything. Another one was requires excessive admiration. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look what I did. And that was a lot. Like there was, look what I did, look who I worked with, look at all these different courses, and there was amazing courses. I took them. They were freaking amazing. I learned so much. Did he have a lot to offer for a lot to, and to give us value? Absolutely. Like every single one of us walked away with some really, really great knowledge. And for that, I'm really thankful. And I believe that his intentions had started out in the right place, but they kind of went major haywire. There was another one was associated with big status people or institutions, like bragged about that all the time. And we all were like, okay, so let's talk about the course. Let's talk about the event that we're in right now. Let's talk about the very things that, you know, we're doing right now. And then, but now looking back, I'm like, the people that you talked about, it was bragging rights, like, right, like I got to work with blah 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 blah, you know, name dropping all these different things. So it was to solidify us into believing that you know, he had these really great super connections. And again, when I Googled and I started looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, like he had taken thousands and thousands of dollars from people, and things just didn't get done. He is just like job jumping, only he's business jumping. You know, he'd help one for a minute and then it'd go on to another, and there'd be a couple people that definitely worked. There's a couple people too that he really, really did, you know, that they really learned a lot from, and they're really doing really amazing. But now it's like, I don't want my name associated. Are you kidding? Like, dude, like you're a mess. And you're creating havoc in other people's lives, and you don't deserve that part. That's just my own opinion. And, you know, maybe other people might feel the same way. But again, there's a very high profile person who called him out on his page, and our whole group of people that have been involved in this person one way or another have all responded, all of us, and have made our point very clear. And it's like, you can go on there and you're going to see that we did, because this person's still friends with all of us. And the only thing that I can think of and feel for too is so he can watch what we're doing and what we're saying, because he knows it's coming, right? So a narcissist doesn't like it either when people like oust them and, you know, put them out there, because they want to be admired and respected, and, you know, they don't want their connections tainted. Like, and they're evil when that happens. Like they're like it's like a snake in the grass, and they'll come up and they'll just try to bite you, and you know what, you're gonna get it back. That's what we're gonna do. They also have a sense of entitlement and unreasonable expectations, and that is exactly what happened with me. So towards the end of working with this person, and you know, I kept saying, I'm like, you got to slow down. You can't give me all these people, you know, all this work. I can do like one or two, you know, along with all the other stuff that I have going on, and just kept getting more and more, and that's why I was like, okay, I got to just not do this, because I can't. And again, it was like, I would be doing these people such a disservice, and it's not fair to them. And I'm not going to do that to them. That's not how I roll. Like, I want to be able to give you the best possible service that I can. I want to be there for you 100%. And if I can't do that for you, then I can't do this. And the expectations were so unreasonable at the end. And this business partner of his too, a young guy, great kid, got so sucked into all this too. And, you know, I could tell where the words were coming from and the emails. And I was like, all I could do is pray for this kid. Like, seriously, pray for him that he would find his way out. And he has, and I'm so happy for him. And the high profile person on this page is actually partnered with this young man and is teaching him all kinds of really great things. So I'm super, super happy for him and proud of him. And there are people that will step in and help. And I'm just really grateful about that. So they also show a lot of arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitude. Saw that like all the time. And, you know, just figured it was like his guy thing. You know, it's like, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I'm like, what? So this guy's really taught me a lot about definitely who I don't want to be. Those are the kind of teachers I really do appreciate and love now. And it's just like, yeah, that's not who I want to be. And you definitely taught me what to look out for. So you were a great teacher in that respect. So I just want to say thank you for that. Like, that was pretty awesome. And then the other two is that believes that others are envious of them. And I remember there was a few times we were on, you know, on our Zoom chats, our weekly Zooms, and you know, people would say something, and I could tell that he just really was sucking it all in, and we all were again, it was like a bewilderment kind of thing, but at the same time, it was becoming more and more clear to others. It took me a while to figure it out. And it was becoming very, very clear to others what was going on, because I even had my girls are like, Shelly, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no, he would never do that. Just hang in there. And sure enough, they were right. And I was definitely way wrong. And so there were some really, really, really amazing lessons that were learned in all that. So you guys, the very toxic narcissist does do damage to his targets. Absolutely does. And it is up to us to speak and to break the silence and to allow others to know what they're getting into, the type of person that they're becoming involved in. In fact, I reached out yesterday to a couple of people that I know that I've seen liking on his stuff. And I'm like, you can do what you want, but I'm going to let you know right now that this person is very toxic. Not the type of person I know that you really want to be associated with. And I am starting to tell everyone, because they deserve to know. You deserve to know. And I appreciate you. And thank you for allowing me to take this time to talk so long about narcissism and this whole last year experiences. And I know, though, that you have probably been through it. You're going through it. And I just want you to know you're not alone. But don't be silent. Be sure to speak up, speak out, and start sharing with others, because other people do deserve to know, because your silence does hurt you. Your silence does hurt others, and others do deserve and honor them. And don't, like me, I feel very selfish that I didn't say something a long time ago, because I felt, again, like I said, I didn't feel worthy enough to tell people. They do deserve to know. And, it's up to them after you tell them. And again, it's not about gossiping. It's not about being malicious. It's not about being mean. It's not about any of that. It's just about, bringing awareness to people, about certain people, because they're still continuing to make themselves seem like they're very high profile, and they're damaging other people's lives. And that's not okay with me. So speak up, speak out. And just know that I'm here for you. If you, want to talk about anything, I feel free to DM me. Feel free to write down below what your thoughts are, and can share this out. Do whatever you want to with it. I really appreciate it. So this is Shelly Jean at It's Shelly Jean, and hashtag life does begin again every single day. Just take one day at a time, one step at a time, and live into this day. And I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. I do apologize for this being a little bit long today and a little bit windy, and but I felt it was a very important topic for us to discuss. And make it a great day. Next week is 4th of July. Woohoo! All right, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye now.